Well, hello, hello, hello. I just decided to do a pop up on today. Oh my gosh, I haven't done a pop up in this room in forever. Always in here at 5 a.m. And listen, we are on week one, just completed going through the 40-day soul fast with Dr. Cindy Trim. And you all know that that book will definitely change your entire life. Like I said, I wanted to hop on today and give some wisdom nuggets about the mind you to tap into your next and this next space. Let me introduce myself to you. I am Dr. Tavis Taylor. I am a business strategist. I help those who are 9 to 5ers or thought leaders who want to tap into the coaching business or the online space. I help you find your niche and also build out your business blueprint. I love what I do. I've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people tap into their purpose. I do this because I have a PhD in positive neuropsychology. So I help you shift your mindset and help your mindset match your behavior. And so we focus on the positive aspects of you. Jess Kim, welcome to the stage. She is one of my clients. She is a part of my mastermind. As a matter of fact, I am working on a project with her entire family. So it's so awesome and it's so amazing. Introduce yourself, Jess Kim, and then we're going to get started after Anisha. Another one of my mastermind clients, friends. I gotta find like the right adjective, Jess Kim, to go after that. But both of these ladies are in my mastermind and they're also in my mentorship group. Introduce yourself, Jess Kim, if you're in the position to.
Good morning, everyone. I am just Kim Stringer. I am an emotional freedom coach. I am the founder, curator of the Release It Challenge, also the 10 for 10 prayer challenge that we do monthly. And this is an awesome space to be a part of. And I would suggest that whatever it is that she's pushing you toward, join it. It will benefit your life, not just yours, but your families as well.
Thank you so much, Jess Kim. And the Release It Challenge, y'all. Let me tell you what Kim does. There is a group of us where at the beginning of every month for the first 10 days, she has a system and a rhythm where we pray for somebody else. And so we send her our prayer requests. She distributes them through somebody, and you don't know who you're praying for. So I could be praying for Gloria and not know it. Gloria could be praying for Miss Karen and not know it. Miss Karen could be praying for Rosalind. So just having a space for you, and it's free, right? It is free. We just got her to at the end of it say, hey, can you like we want to sew something into somebody praying for us for 10 days. And I will tell you that the prayers are working. They definitely are working. And so I'm excited about that. And also the Release It challenge that she does, y'all. So I was coaching Kim and we were talking about something, and the results of that conversation. She had a conversation with me and somebody else, and the results of that, what she has, was called the Release It Challenge, where you release the weight, the physical weight, but also different weights in your life. I am 26 pounds down since December because of the Release It Challenge. She can talk about that more in a few seconds. But listen, these women are really killing it, right? What I love about all of them is they take action. Anytime you have a coach, because I coach and I consult. Coaches help pull it out of you. I'm going to help pull it out of you and then help you strategize on the next steps to take to get to that next place. It's just what I do. And I'm excited about it because I get to see the results of it. So Anisha is another one of my mastermind, and she's a part of my mentorship group as well. I celebrated both of them on yesterday for International Women's Day because they really are making their mark here in the earth and they're actually doing the work for what we're working on. So, Anisha, introduce yourself to us.
Good morning, Dr. Tavris. This is Anisha. Thank you so much for allowing me on the stage. I am a registered nurse and nurse coach and the founder of the Nurses Circle. I have a community where I support nurses to overcome burnout and find their place of balance in not only their careers, but also in their lives. Thanks so much, Dr. Tavris, for allowing me to speak.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to get started, and then we'll let the Dalisa and Dr. Lurleen introduce themselves as well. But I'm super excited about this conversation. I decided just to do a pop up. I'll be doing more pop ups and find a regular day because, as the owner of a coaching school and dealing with a lot of coaches, helping women, because most of my clients are 9 to 5ers. They have careers. You heard Anisha, she's an RN. Just Kim is an assistant principal. So they have 9 to 5s, right? Or careers that they're in, but they also know that they have purpose outside of that. And what we really need to start thinking about and talking about is what are we going to do in 5 to 10 years when we retire? We know that the climate is shifting, right? The climate is shifting, things are changing, people are being laid off in droves, and nobody's really talking about it. But it is happening. And so I see it up close and personal because as a pastor and as a coach, counselor, all of those titles, right? You know, we all have more degrees than a thermometer. I see it up close and personal. But what are you going to do about it? The question becomes, what are you going to do about it? Or are you going to stay stuck and you're going to stay stagnant? But there are 3 mindset shifts that you have to have. And we're going to discuss these. And I do want to hear from my coaching colleagues on the stage as we are diving into this dialogue. The first thing that I want to talk about, there are 3 mindsets that you have to have. I'm going to tell you each one of them, and then we can dive into them. Number 1, you have to have a growth mindset. Number 2, you have to have an abundance mindset. And number 3, this one is the one that's going to get everybody, right? You have to have an action-oriented mindset. Those are 3 mindset shifts that you're going to have. I have a scripture to back it up. With the growth mindset, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Scripture encourages us to embrace the belief, right? That with God's strength and guidance, we have the ability to grow. We can overcome challenges by trusting in God's power. We can develop a growth mindset. And that's the capacity, when we have the capacity to understand that we can grow, we are resilient, we can learn something different. When you embrace the belief that your abilities and your intelligence can be developed, right, through dedication, effort, and learning, a growth mindset helps you to overcome the challenges as you're going to see. When I think about the projects that these ladies are working on, something that I see is they had to have a growth mindset because all too often we can sit in a place, right? We can sit in a place, we can stay in a place, or we can feel like this is just how it is. And I will tell you, no change comes without abrasion, right? No change happens until you are ready to endure what comes with that change. And the first thing is a mindset shift saying, you know what, this is where I am today. This is where I am in my finances. This is where I am in my mindset. This is where I am today. I know that if I work towards this, I can do this. I'll give you an example. So I get my makeup done at least once a week, right? Sometimes 3 times a week. I just do. It's just something I like to do. I'm oftentimes filming, and sometimes I just want to look at myself with makeup on. And so it is because growing up, I was never artistic. And so my sister could do hair. I had another sister that could do makeup. That just wasn't my advice. My thing was to just be really, really smart, get a whole bunch of degrees and just be smart. And so I was going to my regular makeup artist and she said, you really should let me teach you how to do a basic beat. And I was like, I can't. And I was so fearful, Anisha. I was like, no, that's not me. I'm not artistic. I can't even color good. You know, all of these things. And this may seem like something that's so small, but we all have that small thing that if we don't watch it, it hinders the bigger things. We all have those small things that if we don't pay careful attention, those things will cause us to self-sabotage, for the to give into the imposter, to even hold back on the skills and talents that God has given us. So I went and I took the class, and I was so nervous. I was scared. I ordered all this makeup, and when I tell you, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was, and I've been doing my face almost every single day just because I want to get so good at it. So what I'm learning is, okay, I did this wrong, I did this right, but I never thought I could overcome that. A fixed mindset is I'll just pay somebody to do that. A growth mindset is, you know what, if I keep working at it, and I promise y'all, by the end of June, I'm going to be able to do the best beat contour ever. But I never thought I could. I had a fixed mindset on that because from childhood, I wasn't the creative one. And I allowed that thought pattern, right? To even, there's no telling how much or how many things that have been hindered because of that mindset. So let's talk about this, Just Kim and Anisha and Lisa. And I see Cisco in the audience. If you want to come up, you're more than welcome to come up. But let's talk about this because if you are going to get from where you are to where you know you desire to be, to where you know that destiny just resides there, you're going to have to shift your mindset. Whatever area that's in. Some of us have to shift our mindset in, oh, we got it. We have it under control. Some of us have to shift our mindset and we don't trust pastors. We don't trust coaches. The coaching industry is overrated. I will tell you that everything that you think, your reticular activating system, part of your brain, is drawing it closer to you. And we have to realize that our brain is neuroplastic, meaning that if you exercise it enough, you can simply change the way that you're thinking. You can change the way that you're thinking and you can shift your mindset. It's doable. There is science, there is psychology, and there is Jesus. As the man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so I just want to dive into these things because we're getting ready to come up on the spring of the year, right? January, February, March. I think we're spring. And time is getting ready to spring forward. What are you going to spring forward into as it pertains to your next? And how are you going to do it? Can I tell you, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable, but you've got to silence the voices. You've got to know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you got to surround yourself with people who don't mind saying, hey, you're good at that. And if they say it enough, right? Those things that were said in your childhood, that were brought up in your childhood, that you adopted in your childhood, eventually those things get smaller and smaller and smaller, but not without you doing the work. Just Kim, are you in a space where you can contribute to this conversation?
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to having a fixed mindset, I just want people to know that your thoughts become words, and then your words become your actions. So whatever it is that you're thinking, that's eventually what you're going to do. So when you stop thinking that you cannot do something, you'll start to do the things that you are thinking that you can do. So having a fixed mindset will stop you from doing a lot of things. It does not matter if you have the grit, the determination, whatever. But if that one thought crosses your mind that you can't do it, then that is what you're going to do. And when I was in, I used to be a district trainer, instructional coach for teachers in the district, and we did a study on a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And the people who did the best, that had that growth mindset, were the ones that were 5 years old, the kindergarten students. They were able to build towers because they did not have those limited beliefs. They didn't have those prior experiences that caused them to think that they could not do something. And Dr. Tavis, I need to be a little bit more like you and try to beat my face every day. All I got is the eyebrows and the lashes right now, but I'm coming for that light beat as well. Thank you so much.
Well, your brows are always beautiful too. So I need to take some pointers because yesterday I was looking like a tiger. They were a little too wide, so I had to try to figure out what to do. But I was using the wrong liner. They were a little wide yesterday, Anisha. My God, today. But I'm gonna get it though. I'm gonna get it. I am. Anisha, I want to hear from you. And if anybody in the audience want to come up, feel free to come up. I've always shared my stages with people. If you want to come up, feel free to come up and contribute to the conversation. You're more than welcome.
I'm over here laughing because I'm listening to both of you ladies share, and I'm like, if I can get somebody to help me with my eyelashes, I think I'll be good. I'm good everywhere else. I tried to put those things on, honey, and they were sitting on top of my eyes, and I said, Lord, I can't go outside looking like this. So I'm still working on that part. But what you said, Dr. Travis, about the makeup, I love as you were sharing. I was listening to what you were sharing, and I said, you know what? The one thing that you said was that you made up in your mind that that was something that, after you talked to your makeup artist and she encouraged you, you said, yeah, I can do that. But the thing about it was, it wasn't just a one-time deal. You went, she showed you, and you were done. That growth mindset was something that was continual. So it was something that you had to do over and that you continue to do over and over and over again. So when we make up in our mind that this is something that I want to go into, if I want to open up my mind and grow, it's not just a one-time decision. It's something that you're going to have to continue to do over and over and over again until you perfect it. And then you move on to the next thing. So it's not just this year, but then what's the next situation that'll come? So as you continue to do that in the one area, it'll, opportunities will present itself for you to have to use that same mindset. And it'll be easier to walk into the next thing and say, okay, I've been here before. I got to keep working at it. And then on to the next thing. So I love this conversation. And I get my mic.
So I want to ask you a question though, may I,
Sure.
Anisha? So my question is, I've always wanted, and my mother is a nurse, and I probably have about, how many of y'all is it? About 15 clients of mine on Clubhouse and off Clubhouse that are nurses. Were you nervous when you first had to do IV? I've always wanted to know.
And it's funny that you say that because when I went to nursing school, that wasn't something that they taught us was how to do IVs because I worked in the hospital and we had an IV team. So they would come in the department that I worked in, they would come and put the IVs in for us. So I didn't probably learn how to put real to start, to stick and do IVs. Oh, probably until I don't know the last 5 years or so. And I was, but
Shut up.
life prepared me for it. So it's like anything else. It's like, you know, this is medicine. Let me look up and read up and see how to get this tourniquet on to start this needle. And now it's funny because my coworker is like, Anisha, I need your help. Can you get this stick for me? It's a hard one. And so something that you haven't had the opportunity to do, if you open up your mind and you're open, you're not willing, you're not afraid to take the risk and do it, then it becomes, you become the expert in it. So yeah, that is something that I would say more recently have learned how to do.
Wow, that is so dope. Thank you for telling me that. I was thought about being a nurse when I went off to college many moons ago, and then I was going to be an attorney, and now I'm still talking. So we'll figure it all out later. Listen, I'm so excited to have Dalisa on the stage and teacher on the stage. I want to talk about this next step, and then I want to engage Dalisa and teacher. So I'm going to do this one first. Action oriented mindset. You have to shift. And this is something I have to work on even the more. I know y'all think that those that know me think that I'm so super busy, and I am. But I have to shift from being passive to being proactive and action oriented. And so do you. When you have this mindset, it's going to require you to take action, initiative, make decisions, and take consistent action towards those goals. So, what I did this year, I have a group called the Goal Getter Mentorship. And that group, the first thing that we did was, well, first we started out with some goal setting. And then I had to go get a mentorship, and we started setting our goals in different areas. I think it might be 15 different areas. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But for each goal, you have to have milestones and you have to have actions. What actionable items are you going to take? And then the results. And then, of course, you have to go back and revisit it if it's not working. But in doing that and looking at those steps, one of the things that I adopted, one of the books I adopted is a 12-week year. And what Brian did was he wrote a book and said, hey, we wait so long. We have these yearly goals and we wait so long, like November, to go back and look over our goals that if you focus for 12 weeks at 12 weeks of time, then you're more than likely to reach that bigger goal. And so, yeah, you can set yearly goal, 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. And then as you set those goals, though, your 1 year goal, what are you going to do each quarter to reach those particular goals? I found that not just me, but those that I work with, we're much more productive because we have action oriented goals and we take action steps. Being connected to a group of people, how many people do we have in the morning, Kim? Maybe 70, 75, sometimes 100 people at the 5 a.m. soaking session. That encourages me. That's my accountability for being a pastor. That's my accountability for the things of God because I have to get up and I'm teaching 3 mornings a month, 3 mornings a week. That's accountability. Well, I also have accountability in my business because I couldn't coach Just Kim. I couldn't coach Anisha where they are if I wasn't keeping up with the trends. It blessed me that Anisha and I was in a workshop together by Brian on the 12-week year. I didn't know she was in there because there's so many people. You don't know who's in there. And when she saw me, because I always tell them I'm constantly being innovative because how can I coach them if I'm not being innovative? And so it is with you. How can you do what you've been called to do if you're not constantly mastering your craft and learning different things, different tools, and different tips? You can't. Life that was life, and life as we knew it prior to 2020, it would never be that way. And so even now that we are in a recession, right, we are in a pandemic. My son just had this cough, whatever it was, with a fever, and the doctors didn't know what it was. So we had to go through that. We're in a different state now. And so the state that we're in, we have to learn how to do things differently. We have to do church differently. I have a cyber church. There are a lot of people who don't want to go back to the church building, right? So is that myth that our grandmama and them told us growing up that if you're not in the church, then this is going to happen? So we had to do things differently. In order to get different results, you have to do things differently. In order to get different results, you have to take the initiative, and you're going to have like mass action. One thing I'm going to tell you, and Alisa, I want to yield to you. You have to know your time. There are different for me. And if this is some revelation for people, I want you to put a 5 in the chat box, because 5 is my number. It's my line number. I'm a Delta, but it's also the number of grace. Have grace on yourself. There are different times. I know my times and seasons. I know when I am the most productive and when I'm not. I know what times of the year you're going to get the absolute best, Dr. Tavis, and when it's better that I only have 3 or 4 clients. I know this concerning me. But what about you? Do you have certain times of the year that you're productive? Do you have certain times of the day? Because we all have it. We just have to make sure that we take a look at it. And that way you're not spinning your wheels when you're trying to take action, because you're not taking the wrong action that doesn't coincide with, number one, your personality type, your genetic makeup, your mindset, but also your schedule and what the other things that you have to do. So I hope I dropped some nuggets in that you all can, can kind of piggyback on and give me your wisdom on. But you have to take a look at those things. If you want the better part of me, fall and spring, I do my best teaching. I mean, I can teach you how to build. I think that's when you know what, Dr. Stella, that's when I helped you make your 6 figures in 6 months. It was a fall of the year. Fall is something about the fall that for me, right? And I want y'all to think about it. And if you can think of the time of the year that you're really busy, let me know. Or you're more productive, or the time of day that you're more productive. Put it in the chat box for me. There is some scientific research that show that this does happen, if you pay attention, especially for those of us that are creative, those of us that are prophetic and gifted, like, all of those things. You have to take all of those things into consideration. Dalisa, I know that you are prophetic. She's called my I call her my locator. You are prophetic, and um I'm sure you have to take note of your times, your seasons, and your spaces as well. I want to hear from you, and then I want to hear from Miss Teacher Melanie. Dalisa.
Yes, great day, everybody. Great day, Dr. Tavis. Thank you so much for everything. Allow me to speak. All right. Yeah, it's important to know your own self, right? It's important to know times and seasons as well. So, how do you operate? How do I operate? Mornings are better. I'm not a morning person by any means. I really like afternoons better. But my most productive times are in the mornings, and then springtime is like when I bloom, right? Because after winter, after that just coldness, everything is fresh and new. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much me. And so um as it relates to taking action steps, I'm a believer in not just saying stuff, but actually doing it. If you can talk a lot of stuff, but if you put no action behind it, then your words are they're just void. They're empty, right? And so if we could grasp that is in the kingdom of God too, that we're not just teaching and preaching the word, but we actually have to live it out, walk it out, and believe God to do what He said. All right. It goes along with the business world as well. But I had to learn that, and it didn't happen overnight. And so I did want to jump back to that growth mindset as well, because there's a saying that all it takes is a made up mind, and you have a determination to do something, you're going to get it done. Like if you're determined that you are not going to do a certain thing, you're not going to do it. It don't matter what anybody says. You said I'm not giving that person $100. You are determined. You've made up in your mind that is something that you are not going to do, right? And so I'm not giving my kids this cookie. I don't care how much they beg me. I don't care how much they get on my nerves. I'm not doing it, right? It's the same way when we're looking at growing, or we're looking at advancing, or we're looking at starting something. And I can just talk about myself. I have great ideas, but the execution of them sometimes, or even being narrow in my thinking and not being open-minded, I had to get rid of that. I had to look at Dr. Tavis as another perspective, other ways of doing it. And so when I connected with her and this community, it's changed me. It actually an acceleration has taken place. And so just being in the mastermind, like one, not the last meeting that we had, a go-getter mentorship one, that one, I've had this idea of building just something, and I'm just gonna say something, um and it didn't happen. It wasn't happening because I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't giving it the time it needed. And so, but after that, not the last class we had, but the class before last, where Dr. T lit a fire up under everybody, I completed that program in 1 day. You heard me? 1 day. 1 day. And so I'll be able to share that. But action steps to getting this certification for my SIE certification and my Security 65 certification, that is happening. And so it just takes a made up mind. Like, you got to know where you're going. If you don't, and it's like I'm just saying a compass. If you don't have a compass and you don't know where you're going and you don't have any direction, then you're just going in circles. But get the help because it's here, right? It's here. So you got to be focused. You got to know yourself, right? You got to know you intimately, intricately. Who did God make you to be? And so you got to know what moves you, what motivates you, what even causes you to draw back. You got to get away from the things that cause you to draw back and rethink things. No, your mind is made up, not going back. I'm moving forward, and I'm going to get this done within the next 30 to 60 to 90 days. And that's how we got to look at it. So thanks so much, Dr. Tavis, for allowing me to share.
Thank you so much for sharing. I am proud of you for all that you are accomplishing. She actually starts a new job on next week as well. I'm excited about that, and it is very prestigious. So I love something you said, Dalisa, that I lit a fire in the class. One of the things, I have the breaker's anointing on my life. My life. I know my gifts now. I haven't always known them, and I have not always been this confident. So the Dr. Tavis you get today is one that has been molded, shaped, been through the fire, yada yada, Skippy. And so what I know to be true though is that being connected to the right people and the right community, so that as you're making these necessary steps, what tends to happen is the right people will show up. And I was telling my class once, I said, I said, some of you, this is your first time working with a coach, and you may not get it all right now. But what God is doing, and what science does, right? Because God is science. If you look at it, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So you have the reticular activating system part of your brain that you're funneling in information. It filters information in and it filters information out. It has no clue what's good or what's bad. Whatever you feed it is what it's going to feed you. And so the more you're listening to conversations that you can do it, the more you're listening to, oh, you're good at this, the more you're listening to it, the more I go on and I beat my face and I send it to my makeup artist and she said, you did a great job. And I said, what can I change? She'll say, did you do this or that? All of those things build up that part of my brain and say, hey, I can do it. So where fear once stayed in that place, right? Where fear and, sometimes your hand starts to sweat, your sweaty palms and your underarm sweat, or you start to get nervous, your breathing changes or it shifts. Where fear used to live in certain places, the more you shift your mindset, fear will no longer live there. Faith will. And the fact that you can do it. And I'm just going to take these steps. I'm going to have grace on myself. Know that I can't be what my makeup artist is today. I can't be that in 7 seconds. But if I practice, I can be the best that Tavis can be. If I practice, if I watch the videos, if I follow the blueprint of someone that's already done it, right? Following the blueprint of somebody that's already done it, who had a growth mindset because they had to grow, who took action because they had to take action, or they wouldn't be where they are. So these mindsets, you may not hear people talk about them like this, but everything I do always lead back to Jesus and your mindset. Because sometimes it's the inner healing and deliverance. Let's get to the bottom of why you self-sabotage. Let's get to the bottom of why you are operating in guilt, shame, blame, and regret. And please remind me to finish that book, Just Kim. Hold me accountable. But let's get to the bottom of why you have that silent guilt, shame, blame, and regret. Is that what's stopping you from taking action? Like, why should I write a parenting book and my son is this? Or why should I do this when I was 13, I did that? So that guilt, shame, blame, and regret can cause paralysis, analysis of paralysis, because it paralyzes you because you stay in those places. And so you can't get to the growth mindset, or even if you have it, okay, I know I can do this. Then what happens is when it comes to the action steps, all of the voices of the past try to come up and it tries to snuff out everything that you believe you can be. Hey, Miss Melanie, how are you? Is it Melanie? Yeah. Hey, Miss Melanie, how are you doing? I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yes, you are definitely saying my name right. I am doing well. Thank you so much for for asking. I appreciate this room and this topic. Dr. Travis, this is truly something that is dear, near and dear to my heart, the mindset, because as you just said, the word of God, so a man thinketh, so is he. And it is so powerful. Then we really get that down in our spirit, what that really means. And for me, I really had to sit back and really analyze where I am in my life. And one of the things that I had to identify was the distractions and the avoidance. Because oftentimes for me, I realized that things, when I needed to get things done, I will get so caught up in those small things, right? That I did not do the thing that I needed to do at that time. And I really got more and more identified that, you know what? Okay, am I doing this thing as an avoidance of what I'm supposed to do? Or is it a distraction? And once I've realized that, now it helps me to move on a little bit further. But I also had to realize that I could overwhelm myself, because when you're a person where people call on you for so many things, get pulled in so many directions. I had to identify what are those things that's supposed to really fill my spirit, and that I need to do, and that I have to do, and not those small things. And so what I do now is that I write things down, not a whole lot of things on my to-do list, because I can write 20 different things, get overwhelmed, and end up doing nothing because I'm overwhelmed. And so putting things smaller on a list, right? Identifying those tasks, is it, as I said, are those tasks an avoidance or a distraction? Am I doing this right now because I don't want to do the thing that I know I need to do right then and there? And also getting to the point that this is a daily growth thing, right? It's a daily pouring into. And I realize that how environment, and we hear this so much, but now more and more, how being in the right environment, associating with the right people that are going to pour into your cup. Because oftentimes, if we're high yielding women, we're constantly pouring into other people, right? And we're pouring into, but not realizing that we need to get poured in ourselves. And instead of becoming better, we become bitter. And then we totally stop. And so I, I'm talking about me. I've had to really sit back and just say, no is not a bad word. I can't do that right now. Or here's somebody else that can help you, because I can't help you. And I can't be all things to all people at the end of the day. So I thank you for this. Mindset is such a powerful thing in every area of your life. We cannot stress that enough, right? It is so important that we really be mindful of what we're pouring into, and what is being poured into us, and taking some time to get reevaluated in our task and duties daily, because this is a daily mantra. Oh my gosh, I can't be sometimes it's not even daily, it's like a minute by minute, right, depending on where you are. So I said thank you so much, Dr. Harris, for this amazing room, and blessings on each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. It's Tavis, not Travis.
I apologize.
That's okay. I had to correct people all the time. I know that a couple of ladies on the stage were cringing, like, it's Travis, not Travis. But that's okay. Thank you. Welcome to the room. And I'm excited about you being in this space. Thank you for sharing. I totally agree with what you said. When I tell you, I studied the brain because I wanted to understand my brain. And being a gifted child without somebody to say, hey, you're gifted, hey, you're not crazy, people just they just don't think like they just don't. And so having to readjust and having to learn along the way who I am and how I move and how I think, and some of it is giftedness and some of it is, all of that, separating that. And then sometimes it's Black women, right? We have to endure things differently than other people, and because we go through things differently than other people, our backgrounds are diverse, our stories are diverse. But being given permission, I give my students permission, every last one of them, to be great in their own right. I give them permission. I let them know you have permission to be great. They're already successful. They already have more degrees than a thermometer. But sometimes there's those little things, because we can be really good, Dr. Stella, in one area. We can be killing it in one area, and fear can grip us so that we're afraid to launch a coaching business. We're afraid because our friends said, oh, that business, well, Coaches don't da da da, you know, the negativity of the coach, but they're still always coming to you for answers to questions. And I'm just going to tell you, listen, you need to start your coaching and consulting business so that when they come to you, what is who couldn't use an extra $125 an hour? Who couldn't use an extra $50 an hour talking to somebody about what they love to talk about? Everybody can. When I certified over 150 students in less than a year's time in my coaching program, it was because my narrative was, look, I am on the lacrosse field with my son sometimes, taking a coaching call, making money while snapping pictures with him. I had to change my mindset from, but it's not regulated and it's not this. And it's, wait a second, but you're giving people $1 million ideas for free. So I had to come from that fixed mindset of all of these excuses, right? Watching people on social media win because one conversation with Dr. Tavis is going to change the trajectory of your whole entire life, right? And I had to come into a knowledge that it's okay to be that person and to charge for that. And being okay with people saying, that's too much. Well, that's fine. I'm okay. I'm even okay with that. Because I understand that when you come into contact with me, your life is going to change. Something one of you said, it might have been you, Melanie, is that, and we can get bogged down with the small stuff. I just told one of my clients that day, she was like, I've been at the computer all day. I said, but were you working on income generating activities? What were you working on? Just because you're taking action, you need to be taking action. We all need to be taking action. That's a direct result to the end goal. That's a direct result to where you want to go. And the more you take that type of action, the better off you're going to be. I'm going to recommend the book to you all. And I'll see if I have my link to it because I did do an affiliate link for it. But there is a book by Rachel Rodgers, We Should All Be Millionaires. That, if you need some motivation, that book is, I have it on repeat. I listen to some of that book every single day. She has a $10,000 challenge. That is the book, the go for me in this season. Now I do listen to the Bible and I have all these books on intercession and prophetic, and I have I'm just a lot of things that I'm working on my coaching certification from a ICF school because this school has a reputation, and as I build mine out, mine will too. I'm doing all of that, but I'm also listening to what do I need to be doing right now? What actions do I need to take if I want to make an extra 10,000, 25? And this is not gimmick talk. This is what I do every single day, right? This is the life that I live because I am a full-time entrepreneur and I have to watch my mindset from, oh my God, I just want to see them win. Oh my God, I was doing $7 Sundays. We did some heavy goal setting for $7 on a Sunday. $7 Sunday. And it got to the point where I was coaching people and giving them more than the $7 Sunday. So I had to back away from that. But that's because I enjoy watching people win and watching people meet their goals. In a couple of weeks, I didn't listen to Rachel, but I went back to Rachel. And I'm telling you, for those of you, if you have not listened to We Should All Be Millionaires, if you are part of an entrepreneur, even if you're in your 9 to 5, some of the suggestions that she give you for your career, when you're going in for interviews and everything, it is life changing. It will be life changing. What you feed your mind is what's going to show up. And sadly, I want you to know where you are today is truly, I've studied the brain, it's truly a sum total of your thoughts of yesterday. Dr. Stella, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Tavis, and greetings to everyone in the room that I have not spoken to today. Listen, I was down in the audience. I was with a student. I'm like, please, clock, hurry up, because I wanted to jump in so badly because this conversation is so good. You said something, but you've already said it now. When you were talking about that mindset thing, because I do so much, I know so much, I know how to do different things. Another thing that helped me with my mindset, of course, you had to change it. And you said it was that free thing. I would do any and everything for any and everybody. Whereas they were progressing and I was still sitting still. And you had to tell me, Stella, look, you can't continue to do this for free. They're moving on and you're still in the same spot you were in when you were helping them. And you tell me all the time now, look, friend, don't it feel different? Don't it feel better? Don't you feel different? And all of that, because I did so much for everybody. I felt like I didn't I didn't have to pay. You know, people say, well, prayer is free and the things you do in the church is free. Yeah, it is, but you're charging people to come to the prayer conference. You know, you're doing this, you're doing that. And so that's what helped me. And I began to change my mind. I also had to change my mind in the area of, well, I already know how to do that. Okay, but there's a different way. If you already knew how to do it, you will be progressing in that area. So take the advice from the person that's helping you, and change the way you're doing it. You know how to do it, but there's changes that need to be done. There is progress that needs to be made. You need to do it this way. As I remember, I was getting ready to sort of kinda, and I'm gonna say it like that, prophet, sort of kinda revert backwards. And Dr. Tavis said to me, "You can go do that if you want to, but I'm not gonna be your friend anymore." And I had to think about that thing, and I'm like, what's wrong? But when I changed my mind, and when I and for real, Anisha, that's, yeah, y'all get the kind one. I get that one. But I had to learn that I can learn from everybody. My 4-year-old grandchild teaches me a whole lot of things. And she's only 4, so I can learn from other people, even though I could be a genius in one area, but I may be weak in another area. And I had to change my own mind that I don't know everything. When I failed a course for the very first time and been in school forever and ever, I was shocked that I failed the course. And Dr. Tavis said to me, "But are you perfect?" And that thing, sort of roughed up something on the inside of me. But I had to think about that. No, I'm not perfect. So there are things that I have to learn from others, even though I may already know how to do it. And I just wanted to talk about that other time, because that's a mindset change that I had to make. Even though you were giving me the information, you was telling me how to do it, but I had to make up my mind that you're either going to follow the instructions from the one that's giving it to you, or you're going to stay in this same spot right here, forever and ever. So I just wanted to, it was a battlefield of my mind at that time. Thank you, Dr. Tavis.
Absolutely, absolutely. This conversation is really good because if we are going to get to that next space, there are some mindset shifts that are required. So let me go over the first two and then we'll get to the third one so that we can just really, really engage in this. The first one, growth mindset. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, is a scripture for that. The next one, action oriented mindset, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. You've got to be proactive and obedient to God and his guidance. So the way we're going to make progress towards our goals and fulfill our purpose is when we are obedient to the word of God, when we are being doers of the word of God. And the last one is having an abundance mindset. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's the scripture for that one. When you have an abundance mindset, you have to focus on the abundant possibilities and gratitude, abundance, gratitude, rather than scarcity and limitations. I can listen to you and tell your mindset. I can listen to you and say, okay, well, that's this. This is that mindset that is. And so this shift, if you're going to do it, if you're going to make this shift, you're going to have to recognize that there are ample opportunities, resources, and successes available to you. And I want you to affirm that. Say there are ample opportunities, resources, and successes available to me. Instead of approaching situations with scarcity mindset, because all that does is it breeds fear. It breeds fear. It breeds competition. It does that. If you're going to have an abundance mindset, though, it helps you see the potential in collaboration, creativity, and abundance. Collaboration, creativity, and abundance. And I believe that I have some women in the room today who really, really, when you think about it, you've been working on those three mindsets, your growth mindsets. Let me embrace the fact that I know that I have the ability. I may not be good at that, but I can learn how to do that. I may have some challenges in this, But I would much rather be challenged on this level. Let's take Just Kim's program that she has, the not even the 10 for 10, but the Release It Challenge. When we talk about weight loss and releasing weight loss, there are so many challenges that come with that. One of the things that you have to think about, and I know I had to do this, was how did I get here? How did I get here? How did I get 100 pounds from where I was in 2015 or 2017 or 2018? But when you see that, you can't stay there. You have to say, okay, I am here today, but I'm willing to work at it, have grace on myself, incorporate one more glass of water per day, doing things. Some things have to be drastic, but not all things, right? How did I get here? But what am I going to do about it? Knowing that you can reach the next goal that you have in front of you. It's quite that simple, yet it seems so far away. And then you have to have an action oriented mindset. And I'm not talking about busy work, because sometimes we can be busy doing nothing. Is what you're busy doing, does it work towards your goals? One of the things that Rachel Rogers talks about, and We Should All Be Millionaires, is pay somebody else to do it. Like, you're spending money, you're wasting money on time, wasting your time doing things that you can pay somebody else to do. One of my clients, she has a maid now. She has somebody, a cleaning service that come in. I think they come every 2 weeks, because we were talking and I said, why are you doing that? Like, she made good money, like well into six figures. Why are you can pay somebody $75 for what it's going to take you 2 days to do, you because she's OCD, like all this stuff done a certain way. You can pay somebody to do that. That's a mindset shift. There are certain things that I think my cleaning lady is like, now she's like $65 because the only thing she does is change my linen and clean my bathroom, and I have to pay her extra my bathrooms, and I have to pay her extra if she folds laundry. I don't want to fold laundry. I don't want, some of you that are finicky about your clothes, that's you. I don't desire to do that. Now I will do it, but I will work and add a class so that I don't have to do that. What are some things that if you really put your mind to it, you don't have to do those things, because they're time wasters? Why would I spend my time 2 hours doing laundry, right? Folding laundry. I'm going to do it today because I think it's therapeutic. But why would I spend my time every week doing that, right? Let's take 1 hour when I can have a client. Say, for instance, if I have a strategic planning session with somebody, that's $9.97. I can take 97 of those dollars and give it to somebody to fold my clothes and to do something else. That's how you're gonna have, these are the mindsets that you're gonna have so that you can shift into freeing up your time to do some of the actions that are going to bring in more revenue because you desire for more. It can free up your time. Like, I have an anthology that I'm doing now. I have an anthology with some ladies that I'm doing, and I've got to market it better because I think I may have like 10 more spots with that. But I am spearheading the anthology. I am the visionary, but I am not going to edit it. I am going to pay Dr. Stella to do a lot of that, even some of the communication. I'm freeing up my time so that I can do something else. What are some time wasters that you have had that are causing you your action? You're busy, but those goals and the things that you're working on are not a part of the actions that you're taking. So you're taking actions doing one thing, but you have goals in another area. Those areas that's causing you to have to leave what you're doing, pay somebody to do it. A lot of my classes are on Wednesday. At some point, I was paying somebody to pick Adrian up from a lacrosse practice on Wednesdays because I was in class and I needed to be on camera. Well, if I have, say for instance, I have 20 people in a class. Say for instance, you have a class, right? You have one class. That class is, let's just say it's a workshop. So workshops sometimes are like, let's just say it's a $47 workshop. You have a $47 workshop, and let's be honest, you have 25 people in there. That's $1,175 that you made. And if you need somebody to pick your child up from school, you can give them 75 of that $1,100, pay them 50 to pick them up, 25 to stop by Chick-fil-A, feed the person that's bringing them home. And you've shifted your mindset from, I got to do it all, to wait a second, I can buy my time back so that I can be doing the things in my business and in my brand that I desire to do. before Maricela goes, is there anybody else on the stage that wants to hop into that? And thank you so much, Angel. This is my third anthology and my 25th published work, I think. Yes, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Does anybody want to chime in? Okay, go ahead, Anisha. I know you over there like, ooh.
I am squirming in my chair as I'm sitting in this line to order my food. But I want to quickly chime in and say you are so, so right about that exchanging money for time, time for money, however way you want to look at it or say it. One of the things that I had to do, and when you were talking, I said that is so good, is that it's six of us. All right, six people. Me doing laundry, working um my 9 to 5 nursing career, business. That's a lot. I don't have time to do that. And so when I shared it with one of my family members, they said, "You gonna pay somebody to come clean your clothes?" But that was a mindset shift from generations that you had to break, because nobody's coming to wash our clothes. We're gonna wash our own clothes and fold them, and that's it. So getting over those mindsets as well to say, yes, I do. And then that changed. People say, well, what's the lady's number? Or how can I get my clothes washed? So now here I am changing how other people are thinking, because the leap that I was willing to take to increase my mind and to move into that growth mindset. So that is so, so good. That's what I wanted to share. And I'm gonna yield my mic.
Anisha, it makes a big difference. Like it literally, because here is the thing. So this is, I always go back to your cells and your membranes and your mind and your heart rate and all of the liver, your lungs. Do you know that stress affects your body? Every time you walk by some dishes and they're in, oh, I need to do those dishes. You go in, so my room is upset. I'm upstairs. I come downstairs. Oh my God, I really need to do those dishes. Oh my God, I really need to do this. Oh my God, you're taking, that's negativity that's taken away from the productivity of your day. So what are some things now? And I want you all to think about it. What are some things now? Just three. Everybody has three, right? What are some things now that you can think about that you're like, wow, if I eliminate that, then I may be able to free up my mind and free up my space to do this. So, time wasters, this is not the season for time wasters. Okay. You need to really, really hone in on your time management skills and learn, what am I wasting time on and what do I need to give away? Now, here is a caveat. I'm talking to me as well. I do have a new assistant, and I have one of them that's no longer with me. She was the best ever. She went on to do other things, but you've got to look at what you're doing and can you bring in some help? Can you barter with somebody? What can you do so that you can get the end results that you desire? Now, this is going to require some mindset shifts, because when I first heard, well, you can get somebody else to pick up your son. If it wasn't my dad, I was like, what? No, I need to be there. I need to be mom. I've got to do this. And, listening to Rachel Ray, I mean, I've started doing this before because, I have to have help because I'm a single mom. And I do a lot, but I had to shift my mindset to, it is okay. It is okay if you have an aunt that you love that wants to spend time with your children. It is okay that you pay somebody to come in and do those baseboards and do the spring cleaning for you. It is okay that you pay somebody, and I pay people for all this, that you pay somebody to stand there with you, to go through your closet. Nope, I don't want that. Yes, I do want that. Nope, I don't want that. Simply so that you can get it done. So that you can get it done. I reached out to my first cleaning lady that here, because I had one in Atlanta, and I said, hey, what is your hourly rate? Because I need to pay you to come and spend a day in Adrian's room. I want to pay you to come and spend a day. I want to declutter again. Like, I just decluttered like 15 bags worth of stuff, but I want to declutter again. But she has this knack. She's very structured and very organized. I said, so I need for you to come in and I really need your help. Now, she's super busy. She was working with me, y'all, and I got a job with a very wealthy family, and she ain't had time for me because they hired her full time to be their house manager. Let's be very clear. But I called her today and she's going to come because there are some things that I need to have done. Eliminate those mind wasters. We're going to call them mind wasters. Those things that come up in your mind that is a waste of your thought pattern because you won't tackle it or get somebody in there to tackle it so that you don't have to think about it. I know this is changing some of your lives today. I know this conversation is going to change the way that you do certain things. And I'm grateful that I came on, because when God gives me an idea or I'm doing something, I love, love, love to give it to others so that we can be a part of the Me Too movement. Girl, I got somebody to fold those clothes. Me too. Girl, I got somebody to clean my bathrooms. Me too. I got somebody to change my linen. Me too. And while she's here working, honey, I'll be like, I need to get in your bedroom. Okay, well, you do the other rooms, and then by the time you get in here, I'll be ready to take a break, because that's so important for me. And that'll be so important for you. For those of you that are nurses, pick up another shift. For those of you that are tutors, start another program. There are so many that you can do to do things totally different. Maricela, I know this is blessing you, and I can't wait for us to have our one-on-one either today, tomorrow, whenever you're available. Maricela, I yield to you.
Hi, Dr. Tavis. Hi, everybody in the room. I wasn't gonna say much, but I think I would just say, I thank you for this conversation, for opening this room. I guess like being part of your community, being part of this community has helped me in the last. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, you guys, I have my kids in the background. But this room for me has really blessed me. I would say, being part of a community is what's gonna help for me. It has blessed me to be part of the shift in the mindset is being part of a community. Um, I guess everybody know me, or I share most of my stories. Like I said, this is not something that I'm used to. I'm accustomed to. From Miami. Our culture, our behavior down here in South Florida is, you do your thing, I do my thing, we handle our thing, and we don't ask for help. What is the community? I know the conversation you had said in one of the rooms, Dr. Taps, about the trauma bonds, and I was like thinking about my memory lane about how got acquainted to some of my friends, and it was linked to a lot of the trauma bonds, right? And I was like, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I'm on the phone. Y'all need to go over there. um the trauma bonds, and I was thinking about, man, like how do I how I became friends with that person and that person and that person, and everything linked up to the trauma bond that you had mentioned. I think it was in the 5 a.m. soaking session or whatever. And I realized that where I'm at now, being in the 5 a.m. soaking session, all the books that we have studied, being in the gold mentorship has really, really, really shifted my mindset, the way my conversation, the way I move. Even like what you had said, I'm telling you, everything that you had said, Dr. Tavis, I'm here to like confirm with you what you said. I think last week you were saying that being part of the soul fast, 40-day soul fast with Cindy Trim, you were saying that if you don't add people into your this type of study session, whatever, you're gonna see people just gonna fall off. I'm on the phone, Maurice. Okay, go ahead and change it. You were saying that if you don't, okay, ask Elijah. I'm sorry, you guys. But what you were saying, like you were saying that if you don't, have people partnership with you during this time, participate in the Cindy Trim book of the 40-day soul fast, people just gonna fall off like boop boop boop. And I was just like, I'm like, okay, I hear what she's saying, but whatever, I'll take notes. And I'm telling you, it was one of my friends that I'm like, I ain't here for her like 2 weeks. And our last conversation, every time we have a conversation, our conversation just don't add up. It's like you could tell that our conversation it's just tension, because I know where I'm at. I'm shifting my mindset to me, my conversation, because I used to be the person that I listen to you all day and I'll be the therapist. But now I realize, I'm wasting too much time on the phone worrying about other people's problems. So for me, I was like, now that I'm being part of this gold mentorship, focusing on me, focus on my healing, my inner healing self, getting closer to God, building my relationship with God, focus on my career and where I'm going. Like, for a long time, I was on a fixed mindset for a long time. Like everything for me, it had to be boom, 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 a routine. Like, you said, Dr. Tavis and Alicia, y'all paid people to do stuff for y'all. I wasn't used to that. I was used to the growing up where, I was the oldest daughter. And I have a sister and a brother, so I was the one that I had to wash everybody's clothes. I had to fold everybody's clothes. I had to iron my mom 2 uniforms for work. I had to be the one cooking everything. So when that was me from the age of 11 years old. Like my mom will call me and tell me, "Oh, did you get the food ready?" Because grew up in a single parent household. I didn't have no father in the household, so I was like the second mom in the household. I have an older brother and my sister's the youngest, so I had to make sure when she came home by 5 o'clock, them clothes was on the liner. I had to iron everybody's clothes. Both bathrooms in the house had to be clean, so it was like a routine for me. Do. So now that I have my own kids now and I have my own family, I feel like I still have that stigma where everything was a routine for me. Like I still gotta iron clothes, and they be like, "Why you still iron?" I'm like, "Child, I gotta go to work a certain look because I like my clothes crisp. I like my clothes look iron and look nice to work or whatever." They're like, "You waste so much time." I said, "I know, I need to find a way to pay somebody to do certain things. Of course, I do need help. I don't have the help that I wish I could." So it's me in the season is finding people that's willing to help me. It's not that I don't want or ask for help. It's finding people that's willing to help me. And I think when it comes to everything, it's not associated with my family members. I will have to find somebody that's not related to me, because I think when every time you find somebody that relates to you, everybody feel like, oh, you do something, you owe me something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like where you got it's like a payback thing, like, oh, I don't watch your child, so what you gonna give me in return type of thing, whatever. So for me is I want to help, I need to help. Being part of the mentorship group, Dr. Tavis, waiting for your I'm excited to have our one-on-one session because I need an organization. Like I need the help, I need the structure. And so that's what I need. So thank you for allowing me to speak and enjoying this conversation.
Thank you so much, Maricela. This conversation has been really, really rich. I'll try to find a time that's conducive for us to come back in and have these kind of conversations. In the meantime, though, do me a favor and join the club. We have a 5 a.m. soaking session that we do every Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. And we are going through, and this is how it works. We, for 45 minutes, if I'll start preaching, but for 45 minutes, we are just worshiping God. Dr. Stella plays the music and we're worshiping God. And then after that, there is a word. Right now, we are going through the book, the 40-day Soul Fast, because God wants us to know who we are authentically. Sometimes we wear masks and we've allowed labels of the past to be on us. And, life has happened and divorces, marriages, children have gone wayward, children have come home, children have gotten grown, children, we're grandparents now. And so we're a different person than we were. And what God wants to do is he wants us to know who we are authentically now, because what used to please you and what used to work for you, it doesn't work for you now. But getting back to your authentic self and who God called you to be and who he created you to be is something about the unraveling and the unveiling of you. Once you do that, there's nothing that nobody can tell you about you, because that foundation is so solid with the things of God. That foundation is so solid with what God says, who God says you are. And so there are 40 characteristics that he wants us to know. God wants us to know about ourselves. And it's really, really working for us. I mean, you will be a different person. And Maricela, I said, please don't do this by yourself. Because what happens, Melanie, is you heal. You heal in places that you didn't even know that you needed to be healed in. You change, you shift, you're not the same. The way that you thought at the beginning of the 40-day, you don't think like that at the end, because guess what? God is introducing you to you, the real authentic you, before you were even born. The idea that he had when he said, I'll send her down in the earth to fulfill a purpose, a mission, and a mandate. And so I welcome you to be a part of what we're doing at the 5 a.m. so that you can join. You can even RSVP so that you can get the, I think one of the rooms may be up. If not, I'll put it up really quickly so that you can RSVP to be a part of that. I think this conversation has been really good. I think it's been really solid. I we'll be back in the Millionaire Mompreneur Hub again. We've been in this space, for those of you who are new, we've been here for over 3 years. Started December of, I think, 2020, and then 2021 is when the 5 a.m. started. We have so many receipts. We've held conferences. I've done the Millionaire Mompreneur Conference. This will be the 4th year. We named it Sis Means Business because we mean business. It's time for us to get down to business in every area of our life. We stand on 7 pillars: ministry, marriage, marketplace, managing life, motherhood, millions, and I'm missing one, mindset. And so we stand on 7 pillars. And all of those pillars, we know that we have to figure out and set goals in all of those areas so that we can achieve our goals. Woe be unto you to be a millionaire, but you don't have anybody to share it with because you haven't learned how to be, how to have community, how to be in community. And so God wants to stretch us. He wants to stretch us in this time, in this season. There's a level of impact that we all are to leave here in the earth. And I think now is the perfect time to get started. I love working. I've worked with Anisha, Dalisa, Dr. Stella, Maricela. I've worked with them. I've worked with Coach V, Natalie. I've worked with, most of the people who are in the room now, and to see their lives change, to see their lives. One of my clients, she just got a Mercedes-Benz truck. She sent me a picture of it and said, I think she said I prophesied it to her or something like that. But she just got a new Mercedes-Benz truck. I just thought about it. And so there are different things that transpire. I meet you where you are, whatever it is you desire, whatever you need. I'm here to meet you where you are. Let's do a round robin. Let's start with Dalisa. Anisha, I want you to finish up before I get started. We'll go to Dalisa, Maricela, Dr. Stella, Melanie, and then you, Anisha.
We need them not just once, but sometimes over and over again, depending on the situation. And so, um, when we talk about growth mindsets and action mindsets and abundance mindsets, which is my absolute favorite, because we serve an abundant God, right? We should not be living in poverty or lack, and so that has to really shift. Like uh, we don't deserve it, but yeah, we do because Jesus paid it all for us, right? Because I had to get out of that, not feeling worthy or not feeling like I deserve what's owed me, and so yeah, we do. We serve it. Our Father is rich and houses, and he's got a cattle on 1,000 hills. So why shouldn't we be in multiplication and living in abundance? So, yep, it's been a great conversation, and it shifted me in some areas as well. So now I got to go get busy and do something else. So thank you so much, Dr. Tavis. I appreciate you, and thanks for letting me.
Absolutely. Maricela, thank you.
All right, I'm just going to end it with this saying surround yourself with like-minded people that wants the best for you, that's going to elevate you and push you to your next. So I'm ready for my next. Let's go.
Thank you, Maricela. And you're doing the work. That's one thing I love about it. You are doing the work. Dr. Stella?
Thank you, Dr. Tavis. This has been an amazing conversation. Mindset shifts. I've taken some notes of some things, and it's a ongoing process. Let's just say that ongoing process for me, and I'm going to continue to do the work so that I can continue not only for God to be pleased, but for my life to look a little different, and I be pleased with me as well too. So thank you so much, Dr. Tavis.
Absolutely. Miss Melanie? She may have stepped away. Anisha?
Thank you so much, Dr. Tavis, for this room. The one thing that I would say is that continue to keep yourself in a place where you can always grow, whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast, joining spaces like this here on Clubhouse, connecting with people who always say who are going to cause your baby to leap, who are going to push you to the next level, who are going to expand your capacity to believe more. That's just the thing. We got to make sure that we put ourselves in places. If we say we want to grow, we got to make sure that we put ourselves in situations, spaces, and places, and then be willing to do the work. Because once we hear and once we see, then it's time to actually do. And so we got to make sure that we're willing to say, if I'm willing to grow, then what do I need to do in the physical to see the manifestation of it? So thank you so much, Dr. Tavis, for this space and this conversation. It was a great Saturday motivation. And thanks for allowing me to speak. And I'm passing it back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Anisha. Yeah, this has been a really, really solid room today. 3 mindset shifts required for your next. Go back and save it and listen to the replay. I will have my assistant take it down and she'll put it in on YouTube, because these conversations like this are what motivate you to take that next step and not quit. So if you're interested in working with me, you can definitely set up a discovery call. I just put a link up at the top. Set up a discovery call, and I would love to hop on a call with you to see how we can work together. I'm going to do a total of 5 one-on-ones start this month. I only have 2 slots left for that. The others have signed contracts and are excited. I'm excited about working with them. Sometimes we just need accountability. Sometimes we need, if you're a nurse, you need what Anisha has. You may need what Just Kim have. And as if we build out with Maricela, you may need what Stella has. Whatever it is, make sure you get exactly what you need, because this is what we do know. Time is passing by. And because time is passing by, you want to make sure that you are fulfilling that time and those moments in a way that's pleasing to God? What are you sitting on? What are you waiting on? And what mindset set shift is it required so that you can get to that next space? Ask yourself that question and then take action. I'm Dr. Tavis. Thank you all so much for joining. This room is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make it a great day. Bye.